What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mike Yourself. In this week's video, well, we're going to do something that probably is way overdue, and I'm almost kind of afraid to see what this is going to look like. So if you don't know what I'm talking about the hydraulic clutch fluid in the, I think it might be like 14 to 22. It's before they went back to the cable clutch, of course. But all of those bikes, they have hydraulic clutch and they use brake fluid, and brake fluid over time will get moisture in it, and that's bad, right? That just makes your clutch ineffective, and you need to swap it out. Brake fluid gets dirty, whatever. Anyhow, so according to Harley-Davidson and I believe the service manuals, it states that you should replace this regardless of mileage every 2 years. Well, my bike's a 2017. I bought it, I want to say it was in 21, and yeah, I've never done it, so who knows what this stuff looks like. Well, I mean, we're going to find out. So let's take a look at the tools we're going to use, and then we're going to go through the process. It's pretty simple. And of course, there's other ways to skin this cat, so we'll kind of talk a little bit through those as well. All right, so to do this process, it should be minimal tools. And what I mean by that is you're going to need a 3/16 Allen wrench of whatever variation you want, and that's just to take off the side cover to get to the bleed screw. Phillips, that's to take off the cover for your reservoir or your master cylinder. Of course, the ratchet for the, but I mean, if you want to use a hand Phillips, or not Phillips, but Allen wrench, that's fine too. And then I'm guessing it's going to be a 3/8 wrench, same size that's used for the bleeder screws on the brake calipers. It's a wild guess, but you know, just like everything is a 3/16, I'm guessing it's going to be a 3/8. Anyhow, you're going to want to have a syringe. Now, I choose the push method, meaning I'm going to put clean fluid in my syringe and push it up through the system. So instead of sucking it down from the main master cylinder to the that part down there, the slave cylinder, I'm going to push it through the slave cylinder up to the master. You know, either way, neither one of those two ways is wrong. You can do it however you want. That's just the way I choose to do it, especially when I'm by myself, because if you're drawing through the master cylinder, because it is on the opposite side of the bike, you don't have good eyes on the master cylinder, and you could introduce air, and then that's a pain in the butt because you got to repeat the process. We're pushing it a little bit more control, and you know you're not introducing air because you're pushing it through, so you're pushing that air out. I don't know, preference. Anyhow, you want to get yourself some .3 or 4 fluid. We're using .4. Have a container to put your dirty fluid in. So this is my dirty, and then hose to go with this setup. Now, I do 2 syringes, one to draw the dirty brake fluid, and then the other one to push the clean. You don't have to have it that way. I'd like to do it just because I feel like if you use the same syringe to do both, then you're basically contaminating your clean syringe or the clean brake fluid with the stuff you're drawing out. So, I don't know. It's probably totally unnecessary, just what I'm doing. And then I use doggy pee pads, right? So instead of putting like a towel over my bike tank or whatever, I like to use the doggy pee pads, throw some painter's tape on it, and that way if we get any drips, then it goes on that, which is super absorbent and doesn't get to the paint. All right, so step 1 is to remove this cover. You got 2 screws that we need to do. Now on other bikes, of course, there's like a gasket and your actual cable clutches behind there, fluid, blah, 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 whatever. Anyhow, we don't have that. Once we take it off, there should just be the slave cylinder behind it, so that cover's really just decorative, right? The other piece that we need to take off, of course, is the master cylinder. So I've got my bike upright, and just the whole point of this is to get this master cylinder as about a level as possible, so that way the fluid isn't like, you know, tilted in any one direction. So when you take off the cap, it doesn't immediately spill. So like I had mentioned, I'm going to lay down the pee pads. That way it protects things, and then always have a rag in hand. So when you lift this off, if you do have any kind of leakage, spillage, whatever, you have that towel ready so you can absorb it. So let's take this thing off. Well, first let me prep this area, but we'll take this off and let's see how bad this stuff is. All right, so let's take this off first. And then we'll move that side cover. I just wanted to see how bad this is. Now, I will tell you, I have had zero problems with my clutch outside of the normal stuff, which is like everybody with the hydraulic clutches complains about the fact that you damn near have to release the clutch the entire way before you can get to the friction zone. That is a pain in the butt, and most people resolve that with just getting the adjustable clutch levers. All right, let's see here. All right, let me put this to the side real quick. Now, I do have fluid on the top here, so I don't know if that's a bad sign or what. Oop. There you go, fluid spilling out. So this thing is kind of full, to be honest. And lucky for me, right on the pad, just like I expected. All right, I'm gonna put this there. And I'm gonna get my syringe so I can take some of that out real quick. But there you go. You can see how dirty it is, right? It should be clear. So, urine yellow, not horrible. It's not like dirty, dirty, dirty. I've seen it almost gray. So not too bad. All right, we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna drain it all out. You guys have seen what it looks like. And then I may adjust my handlebars a little bit here to figure out like how to get this master cylinder a little bit more leveled out. Seems like with the position of my bars, it is still leaning a little bit towards the left side. All right. So if you do get any spillage, wipe it up right away. Use a little bit of soapy water just to make sure. The other thing you want to do is inspect your seal, gasket, whatever you want to call this. Make sure it has no tears in it. I mean, really, that's pretty much what you're looking for. Now with the soapy water, that doesn't mean put it into the master cylinder. It just means to wipe down any part that got the brake fluid on there. Just wipe it. The brake fluid's nasty stuff. Now they do make .5, which is a silicone-based brake fluid, and from what I understand, that will not eat paint. So for those of you who've ever tried that or understand how nasty brake fluid can be, let's get this, got it like right in this crevice. I want to make sure. Yep, there we go. Get it out of there. All right. Well, let me drop you down, take off that cover. All right, so let's take out this cover. Actually, let me get another diaper or paper towel just to put it there, just in case. You never know, right? Won't hurt. Of course, I'm doing this with the bike cold. So I'm not going to burn anything. And because these are just simple, it's a simple cover, I don't believe it requires Loctite or a torque. We can check the book on it, but I wouldn't imagine so. It's, again, this thing should technically be able to fall right off and not have any impact on your bike, as long as it didn't get stuck in something. All right. Oh, let's see here. Well, I'm not sure if it's just the heat shield or the exhaust pipe that's blocking the way. Alright, let me reference the manual really quick, see what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so according to the book says you should be able to remove this cover by removing the heat shields, and it says you may have to loosen up this exhaust pipe. I'm going to try to avoid that. It is like right there. So I'm wondering if I could just find the right angle. I'll be able to slide this thing out. It's my hope. But it's not looking good, guys. I think I might be hosed on this one. There is a screw that's down here. I'm going to try to undo that one and see if that'll give us just a little bit of slack. Hopefully enough to shift this to be able to pull that out. So let me undo that and bring you back. Okay, got it. So here's the troublemakers right there. These two guys right here, stupid. Hate them. But I guess necessary because there's screws there. Anyways, I ended up loosening up the one deal here. I did do the exhaust, slightly, and wanted to see if I'd get any motion out of it, and I got nothing. So it was kind of a waste. So I need to make sure I do not forget to tighten that stuff up. But now we can access our bleed screw to the slave cylinder so we can push our fluid up. Now I want to confirm that it is a 3/8. Bada bing, it is. Cool. All right, so now we can fill our syringe with some clean fluid, put the hose on, start injecting it, and yeah, we'll push it up. All right, so getting the clean fluid into your syringe, I'm going to just use my hose and you want to be careful, that way you don't fling this stuff everywhere. All right. So we can go ahead and put this on here, just like just like that. I get a really good seal. Now what's going to be really important is to make sure you don't start pushing air through the line. So right now there's all that is air. So what I like to do is make my syringe, take it up so that way the air bubbles will float or travel up the tube to the top of the syringe. I'll wait until it gets there, and then I know I'm not injecting air into the system and just fluid. So this takes a second. Doesn't move as fast as lightning. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera. So their bubble just hit the syringe. There it goes. Bloop. Bloop. Alright, cool. Now I have no air in the line. So that means I can go ahead and break that fill screw loose. Start pressing fluid. Alright, and that's really it. That's the process there. So let's take you up top. We'll take a look and make sure that everything's working like it's supposed to up there. Alright, so now as we fill it, you should see the liquid start to come through. So let's take a look. All right, so I pushed some more fluid in there. I'm gonna go ahead and suck this out because it's dirty. And we're gonna repeat this process probably about 3 times. That's really about it. So it's pretty simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out really quick. Like I said, just what you saw. I'm gonna do it 2 more times, and then we should be good to go. We'll seal everything back up. Alright, so pushed it through a couple times. You can tell it is significantly clearer. You know, it's almost about the same tint as what's in my bottle here, so that's clean. I don't have a tester to tell you how much moisture is in there, unfortunately. I had one and I broke it, so I gotta go with this for now. Now, because of how my bike is tilted with these bars, I'm going to have to put a little bit of pressure on the bike to kind of get it a little bit more upright. I'm going to top off the reservoir here, and that way I don't have any fluid in the system, and then, or not any fluid in the system, any air in the system, and then we'll give the clutch a couple of pumps and see how it feels. So I'm going to pull this thing back just because the camera's in the way, so I can do that. But I just want to let you know that's what I'll be doing, just topping it off. Okay, so we've got that topped off. The lid is on. I also kind of went over it with some soapy water, wiped it down just to make sure there was no residual brake fluid kind of lingering in the area. And then I took some compressed air, blew it out. Of course, all that while the P-pad is in the way, so that way if there was anything, it would just drip down the P-pad. No harm, no foul. Fill in the clutch. It feels good. You know, it's not like it's just collapsing and staying there, and it's not feeling like I'm having to arm wrestle it to close it. So we'll go ahead and get this back on its jiffy stand like normal, and start it up, and let's see where the friction zone is. All right, guys, so moment of truth. We got everything buttoned up, tightened everything back up. Getting that cover on was still a little bit of a bear, so my recommendation is if you don't have a nice aftermarket cover that doesn't have those humps, which I think they're probably gonna all need it because there are 2 screws on the bottom, you might want to just loosen up the exhaust down there. Probably not so much at the head, maybe towards the split off pipe or whatever, just to give you that little bit of wiggle play, and be able to get that cover out. Other than that, it wasn't too bad. So let's see. So it looks like we have success. Alright guys, so that's going to be a wrap for this week's video. As you saw, overall, pretty simple process. There are different tools you can use as far as the fluid goes. You can use, like I did, the syringes. They make the air compressor adapter deal, so you can just kind of use compressed air to suck that stuff out. And then there's like I forget who makes it, but there's like a hand pump deal that'll work. It doesn't matter. Like you can slice it and dice it many different ways, still get the job done. Just hoping to encourage you to, take care of some of these simple service items that need to be done. Do it yourself. Save yourself a ton of money. At a Harley dealership, you're going to pay like $160 an hour just in labor, right? And honestly, this is so easy. Like, save yourself that $180. Even if they charge you half an hour service, it's still, $80, right? So, I mean, you can get the .4 from Walmart for probably under $10, right? Takes a couple of simple tools and you're good to go. So I hope this was of value to you. If it was, hit that thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, I would love to have you as a subscriber to our community. Provide your feedback. Let me know your tips, your tricks. Provide us as a community kind of the knowledge that we need to all be successful. And that's what it's all about, right? Is really just sharing information and helping a brother out. Or sister, right? Doesn't matter. So, thank you for watching, and until my next video post, I hope to see you in the win.